What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American now living in Freetown, Sierra Leone. And if you want to know the devastating news that I have for you, then this is the video for you. All right. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. We are live on all platforms, but the audio is coming through a different device. So let me know if you guys can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I need to jump on Instagram real quick. Let me know if you guys can hear me on YouTube. Let me know if you guys can hear me on Instagram. All right, guys, welcome back to the live. If you're watching the replay, welcome to the replay. If you're watching the live, welcome to the live. I'm going live on all platforms: Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch. Okay, so it sounds like you guys can hear me on YouTube. Manelik says loud and clear. What's up, bro? If you guys can hear me on all other platforms, give me a thumbs up so I know you can hear me, and also let me know where you are watching from. I got some devastating news that I want to share with you guys today. I know I mentioned this a few times in the past because it's one thing after another when you live in this part of the world. But no, seriously, there's not some so great news, but we're going to persevere. So Anita says you can hear me. I'm assuming this is Anita Howard. What's up, Anita? It only has your first name, but I presume it's you. Can you guys hear me? Okay, that Destination Africa group says you can hear me. Ya is watching from Ghana. Just Stop Too Cute is watching from Philadelphia. Obviously, Destination Africa group is watching from Accra, Ghana. Anybody else want to tell me where you guys are watching from? You guys on TikTok? I got a mosquito bite. You guys on TikTok, where you guys watching from? Let me know if you guys, number one, give me a thumbs up so I know you guys can hear me on TikTok, and let me know where you're watching from. Tanzania Discovers is watching from Tanzania, of course. Arnett is watching from Charlotte, North Carolina. All right, who else do we got? Did I miss anybody? Ya said from Ghana. Nolan Williams is watching from Sacramento. Dope. Anybody else got anywhere else you can watch from? You're watching from? Anne Marie Harding is watching from London. Anita says, yes, it's me. So it's the Anita Howard. What's up, Anita? Cav Sarge is watching from Richmond, Virginia. Okay. So where's everybody watching from? Ya already said they're from Ghana. Anybody else watching from anywhere else? Anita's watching from Phoenix, Arizona. Nice. What's up, Anita? Okay, Dan is watching from Boulder, Colorado. University of Colorado had a very disappointing loss to Oregon this last weekend. Not what I was expecting. But anyway, I'm staying in tune with American sports, even while here in West Africa. Ron is watching from Chicago. Nice. What's up, Ron? Ron Howard. Very powerful name. Wanya is watching from Ghana. Mr. 16 Grease, I think it is tapped in from the UK. Shout out to the UK. Eufoma is watching from London. Afrocode from London. Big Dave 120 is watching from DC. Nice. Dan was expecting a loss, but he said it'll be all right. All right, Dan. I mean, you were practical. Most other people weren't. I think I was in that boat that thought that they were going to win. Okay, Octavius Winner. I like that name. Octavius Winner is watching from Sierra Leone, Freetown on TikTok. So we got our first person commenting on TikTok. So many people join on TikTok, but nobody ever comments there. So shout out to Octavius watching from Freetown. So today is going to be, I'm not even wearing my glasses today. So you already know this has been one of those days for sure. So We got, is it Chumito is watching from Cuba. I went to Cuba in 2017, 2018. Great country. I loved Cuba. It was a really good time. They had just released the embargo. And so we went, we had a great time in Cuba. It was a really good time. Okay. So, let's get into the content today. I'll do a little bit of an introduction. There's a bunch of new people on Instagram and TikTok. So just so you guys know who I am, my name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American. I now live in Freetown, Sierra Leone. I spent 2 years living in Ghana. I now live in Freetown full time. Dark Skin Humans checking in from Chicago. What's up? I lived 2 years in Ghana. Worked for a company in Ghana called Jumia. It's not just based in Ghana, it's actually in 11 countries. It's the Amazon of Africa. So I worked there for a year as the head of advertising. I've also had a almost 18-year career in advertising in general. I have a social media agency here, really a social media agency anywhere, helping Africans and diasporans reach their target audiences on social media. And I'm also an influencer. I, go on trips. Went to Gambia earlier this year. We'll be going to Tanzania in a little over a week and a half. And I'll be going to Kenya later this year. So that's a little bit about me and what I do. My goal is to help Africans in the diaspora not only visit or move, but also invest on the continent of Africa, start businesses, employ people. And I think that has to be done through the private sector. We see a lot going on in the public sector around regime change in different countries, protests in other countries. And I think really it's going to be the private sector, people like us building businesses, employing people, and empowering people. That's really where we see Africa reach its rightful place on the world stage. Not only an active player in what's happening on the continent of Africa, but an active player on what's happening around the world. But I think it's going to require a lot of folks to get involved in the business sector in order to really see that happen. So that's really what I'm about, and that's why I have this platform. Now, a lot of the lives that I do, I go live every Monday at 9 p.m. GMT, which is usually about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, EST, which is 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we talk about all kinds of things on these live. We talk about things that are happening in news. We talk about things that are happening for me here, living here on the continent. We talk about things that are happening, just in Sierra Leone in particular, because I'm living in Sierra Leone. For those of you who are watching on Instagram and TikTok, if you want to see this on YouTube Live and you want to join in the conversation there, it's a little bit easier for me to follow along with the comments. You can click on the link in my profile. Now, that's going to take you to the YouTube channel. You are going to have to scroll over to the live to see this live, because the one that you're going to see there is going to be the one that was last week. And I'm going to tell you why I'm having challenges getting things set up, which is why there's no presentation today, because some things have happened. There's been some recent developments. So there's a lot to talk about. So a couple of things that I'll just mention. The last week, we can just kind of go through the last weekend of things, and then we can kind of lead to where we are today. So I was supposed to be in the outer province, leaving from there to head to the airport to fly to Ghana. I had to come back to Freetown because my passport, although it was ready on Friday, I was not able to pick it up. And so that was a challenge in and of itself. And, a friend of mine works at the embassy. And so she was able to let me know, hey, the passport's ready. That was Friday. And I was ready to go pick it up. And so, unfortunately, I was there for 2 hours and never got the passport. When you get to the U.S. embassy, and it's not like this in every country, but in Sierra Leone, there's kind of a barrier to getting to the next stage. You got to go into the first room. It's kind of a waiting room Then you go, they check your name off on a list to see if you got an appointment, or if you're coming back to pick something up, they'll write your number down. They'll recognize that you've already been there for something. And then you have to go through a metal detector. You have to turn your phones off. You can only take what's pertinent to going inside and for your interview or for your meeting. So that means that it's only the passport, money, and the documentation that you need, or passport pictures. That's it. You're not allowed to take anything else. So I did that all the previous 2 days prior, and I was told, look, your passport's ready. I was excited, got there, and only to stand there for 2 hours or sit around there for 2 hours to not get the passport. So that's kind of how my weekend started, which, whatever. First world problems, not a big deal. It is what it is. But I was going to I was to an observation, whatever you call it, observation for a funeral that was happening in the States. And this is something that, I haven't talked about on a public platform as of yet, because I don't necessarily have the permission from those who are closest to everything. And so I haven't really gone through and expressed and explained to people what exactly happened. There was some news that was viral, and it had to do with what was going on in the family. And so I've agreed not to talk about it unless further instructed to. So as of right now, I'm not going to talk about those things in detail, but that was what my weekend was meant to be about. And there were some changes that happened there. Not necessarily ideal, but it is what it is. But one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is the constant power outages. And it actually started in Ghana, but I always had a generator. And it also happens here in Sierra Leone pretty frequently, and it happens frequently in Nigeria as well. And so in all these countries, I've dealt with that. Now, one of the negative impacts of the constant power outages is a non-steady flow of power to your devices. Right? So it's a power surge when the light comes back on. Sometimes there's power surges while light is on, period. And one of the things that I ran into as an issue was my laptop battery just got fried, basically. And I am no longer able to use my laptop right now. And as a content creator, you guys might imagine my whole life revolves around having everything on this laptop. Now, I do have much of the stuff that I have recorded backed up on an external hard drive, but there was a lot of stuff in the process of being edited on a program that is only on that desktop or that laptop. And so I woke up on Saturday. Actually, it happened Friday on my way. But we got to the bow late night. And so, I attempted to turn on the laptop. It didn't work, but I was like, maybe there's not like enough power surge in the place to give the laptop any juice. So I'll wait till tomorrow morning. Waited till the next day, did not work. I was like, you know what? Let's wait till I get back to Freetown, since I have to come back to Freetown for my passport anyway. I'll plug in a brand new charger and see if that actually works. Well, I got back to Freetown Sunday night, and it did not work. I'm in the middle of 4 major proposals right now, and I'm unable to do any of them because of the MacBook's unwillingness to cooperate. And so I want this to be a learning lesson to you guys. Those of you who are creating content or who have businesses, digital businesses, and you are planning to move to the continent, especially in Sierra Leone, if you're planning to move to Sierra Leone, which many of those who are watching are, you want to make sure that you have a step down transformer that will be able to deal with the charge and the surge that you'll be dealing with when the power surges happen. So I want to show you what this looks like, because it's something that I had been advised about for different devices. And I'd still been plugging my devices into the wall, which was a big mistake. And so it's nobody's fault but my own. But before I get into that, there's a couple people joining that I want to acknowledge. So Kathy Hardney is here. I watch your videos, but sometimes I don't follow. You gave so many countries to choose from. Never give up. Okay, cool. Thanks for watching. Abu Bakar is from Minneapolis. Kwame says, "Hi, how are you and how's everyone?" Well, I'm dealing with it. They're dealing with things. Kwame's watching from London. Africa Emerged says, "Hello, fam. What's up?" Spirit Warrior is here. Greetings. What's up? What's up? Tim Black says, "Hit the like button, everyone." Yes, absolutely. Hit that like button. Make sure you hit the like button. Share this with anybody who needs to know this information. This is really important. So I'm going to show you what a step down transformer looks like. Most people here call it a step down. I'm looking at this picture of the image right now. It's a step up and down transformer, but most people I've heard just call it a step down box. But this is really, really important because different devices from different countries are used to different power surges. So before I get into this, let me talk to you about how different devices work. So in the States, apparently we're used to 110 volts. Maybe some devices can take up to 220 volts. But the European devices, French or other European wise, which they have different plugs. The Europeans have the 3-prong plugs like this. The French is the 2-prong. The States have a 3-prong, but much smaller, and it looks a little bit different. The French and the rest of Europe, sorry, the British and rest of Europe, I keep saying the French because I've been to France and I just remember what France uses, but Germany uses the same one as France. So the British and rest of Europe, I'm pretty sure they're different. They have 220 volts. American style does 110 volts. You want to have a step down converter that takes the charge, whether it's an influx of charge or not, and it makes sure that it gives you a steady voltage to your devices. If you plug directly into the wall, you will fry your batteries on your devices. And what should have been a hint to me on this was on a couple of occasions, I've used a power strip plugged into the wall because those are meant to deal with power surges. But the usual power surges in the States are different from power surges here. And the power just fluctuates. And so I've had the thing surrounding that goes in the plugs melt. I've had one of those portable what are those things called? Portable juicers. It just fried because it was going way too fast because the charge was too heavy. And so that should have been a note that the MacBook should not be plugged into the wall. But the thing is that built into the actual MacBook, it's the MacBook device itself. The thing that plugs into your computer has a surge protector. The little square thing that you plug the surge protector into has the cord into has a surge protector. And I will be using a adapter that has a surge protector in it. But I guess that really does not matter, especially if you plug directly into a wall, which I had done from time to time, or plug directly into a what do you call it? A power strip. So let me talk to you. Okay, so Spirit Warrior is saying, and the same things happen to him. I burned my battery charger, not paying attention to the voltage difference. See, so it's really important to know that, and you do not want to risk it. Now, I'm not selling this right now. I will be at some point because I realize how much of a need this is, but I'm not selling this right now. So I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like. You guys can decide to buy it if you're planning to move here or planning to visit. I would definitely recommend you buy something like this. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see what it looks like and walk you through it, because I'm actually using, well, first of all, shout out to Stafford Lodge. I'm at Stafford Lodge right now. Many of you guys are familiar with Stafford Lodge. They do the homecoming trip for helping African Americans get their citizenship here in Sierra Leone. So for those of you who are of Sierra Leonean descent and have done your African ancestry, you can go through Hidden Gem Salon, and you stay in their hotel, and then they're the ones who help you get your citizenship here in Sierra Leone. There's this viral video that talks about the 5 countries that offer citizenship to Black Americans in Sierra Leone. None of them actually offer citizenship. The path to citizenship is there technically. Just like in any country, there's a path to citizenship. Almost any country, I should say, not any country, but almost any country, there's a path to citizenship. But Sierra Leone actually offers citizenship just based on your lineage, right? So for me, obviously, both my parents were born in Sierra Leone. I was able to get my citizenship. So I'm a dual citizen of Sierra Leone in the United States. Anita's saying shout out to Dory because Anita knows Dory from her stay here at Stafford Lodge. And so they offer citizenship. Sierra Leone offers citizenship. And so Africa Emerge asked a really good question. The voltage in Sierra Leone is stronger than the US. That's not even a question, that's a statement. And that is true. And not only that, it surges, right? So it's not a steady flow of power. It can be an increase, decrease, increase. And it really does impact your battery life negatively. I had just downloaded a new update to my laptop a week and a half ago. And with that update, it told me that my battery needed maintenance. I presumed that I was like, okay, look, I'm going to Ghana in about 2 weeks. When I get to Ghana, there are Apple authorized resellers, so they can do some repairs and they have batteries. So I was thinking I could just go to Ghana, get the battery replaced, no issue. I was using the laptop and all of a sudden it just stopped working. It doesn't turn on at all, which is devastating because there are a number of different videos I was in the process of editing that I need to put out. And as of right now, I am unable to do so. So, this is not looking good for me right now, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see. Once I get to Ghana and I go to the Apple authorized reseller, hopefully it's fine. But as you can imagine, I mean, my entire life right now is on a computer and on some external hard drives too. And that is, after having the weekend that I had, with the funeral and everything, it's just like, that was not the kind of news that I was looking for. It's not the ideal scenario at all. So Alexis Fowler is asking, can you get an adapter that stabilizes the surge? I don't think any adapter will work to stabilize the surge. I've used a bunch of different adapters. I don't recommend you use these adapters. So Spirit Warrior said, I remember seeing 260 voltage in Bow. Now imagine, in the US, we do 110 volts on our devices. Our devices are meant to receive 110 volts. So if you are doing anything that has more than 110 volts, that's not gonna be great for your battery life. So let me share my screen so you can see this, this device, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys definitely wanna go check these things out because trust me, you do not want to be in the position that I'm in right now. Regardless of your business, this is not what you want to be dealing with. So let me bring Spirit Warrior's comment off the screen. Okay. So Anita's saying you need a converter, right? So yeah, so this step down transformer, or some people call it step down converter, this is what you need. You need to plug into this. So you see the outlet here, it's pretty obvious. So there's a plug on the back of this that plugs into your wall. This one actually tells you what the input is. So you could turn on the input for 110 voltage and then plug your devices into the 110 voltage. Now, what you can do is you can actually plug devices directly into this. You can also plug a power strip into this and then plug your devices into the power strip. But you want this. This device is made to deal with the power surges. But you need to have a device like this if you're staying in this country long term. I cannot stress to you the importance of this. This is going to change your life. My MacBook was overheating and I am meticulous with how I charge. I'm not the type of person that plugs my MacBook in and goes to sleep and lets it charge overnight. I always unplug once it hits 100%. Always. All my devices, all my devices, I do that. So I'm very good with that. And I still ended up having this issue because I did not buy a step down transformer, or what some people call a step down converter. And that I'm not gonna say I regret not doing that, but I learned the hard way that by not doing this, I definitely ended up having a situation that put me in a position where I do not have a computer that I can utilize right now as my own, right? I'm borrowing someone else's right now. And this is a friend of a friend's, right? And so, ideally, you don't want to be in a position where you're borrowing somebody else's devices, especially when they need to use the device themselves, right? I mean, it's past 9 o'clock right now. It's 9:30 p.m. right now. And I had to go use a friend's device. I may be using it till 10 p.m., right? And, this person needs sleep. And so it's just not an ideal situation to be in. Now, this is a good question. Alexis is asking how much does it cost? And saying you're going to buy a backup computer. I think buying a backup computer is a good idea. Buying an external hard drive is a good idea, or saving your stuff on the cloud is a good idea. All of those things are good ideas. Having a complete backup of your hardware is a really good idea. That's another thing that I would definitely recommend you do. I purchased one in Bow for over $100. Quality was not the best. Yeah, so I've seen everything from $100 to $200, $300, or more. I think it depends on the brand, and it depends on all the bells and whistles it comes with, right? So many of them just have like something that looks like this, which is just, this one actually has 3 different types of plugs. I've seen one with just 2 different types of plugs. There are some that are a little bit more, that have a little bit more, right? So this has 2 of everything, right? So you can do the European style, you can do the UK style, you could do the European style, you could do the US. And it has the switch that you can do for all of them. This is available in Walmart in Canada. So we could check out the price there, while we are clicking on the links, right? And what was the original that we were looking at? This one right here. Now this is another page. So let's see. Oh, is this not? This is actually opening the image in a new tab. Let's see. Alexis says that's a business opportunity. Yeah, I will be selling these at some point for sure. I'm probably just going to order them in bulk, bring them to the country, and have people be able to buy them from me. I want to buy them from the West, or reputable sources, ones that I know work and work well, and then I'll probably just be selling them in country. This is something I talked about doing before with other devices and other products. This is just one of those things that this needs to be done. This is an absolute requirement. You're going to save yourself so much of a headache in the future. I mean, man, it's tough to not have my laptop, right? I mean, I use it for everything. A good point that Africa Emerge said is, when building a house in Sierra Leone, ask your electrician to install a step-down converter to handle 110 voltage. You can also have it installed while you're building. That's true. That's definitely something you can do. I have a transformer as well, but I noticed that by doing so, my building it trips a lot, and so I have to go in to the box and flip the switch to get it back up and going. Spirit Warrior says, I'm trying to buy things from China and ship direct to Sierra Leone. That's one thing some people are trying to do. Yeah, sometimes that helps. It depends on, if you trust the devices that you're purchasing, right? But yeah, anyway, this gives you an idea of what you need to do. Man, trust me on this. You definitely want to figure out how to get this at a price that is reasonable. So like, let's go to Amazon real quick and just show you what it looks like on Amazon. So this brand here is $77. Let's just do this, right? We want to do the one with the highest reviews. I don't know how much you guys do this on Amazon, right? But like, definitely filter. Definitely filter. Okay, so this one has the most reviews, and it's probably because of the cost effectiveness. It just has two, so you don't have to plug a bunch of things into it. And at the end of the day, as long as you have a power strip, you don't need to have a bunch of devices plugged into it directly. So this is $76. It has over 1,500 reviews, and it averages a 4.4, so that's not bad. A step down transformer. A few of these have a couple of over 500, but you see the pricing, right? So 79, 76, 89 for this one. For whatever reasons, no prices on these. Sorry, this is a sensitive mouse. This looks like something out of the 1980s. It's for a small business. Okay, this is all Amazon small business ones, so these prices are going to be hard to find. Okay, this is $88 for the Vever one. This is under small business, so you have to check with the small business prices. This is only $36, 1,200 reviews. So this works for US. This works for all versions of European. Not a bad price, $36, but to Spirit Warrior's point, it's expensive to be cheap, as they say. So, you may want to go with the higher priced ones to ensure that you're going to get one that actually works really well. Here's one that the pricing isn't here. This is $62 for this one. This one looks pretty elaborate, $77. But yeah, so you get the idea. You get the idea of some of the pricing, especially pricing on Amazon. Alexis says, I see one in Walmart for $65. Tim Black says, I don't trust Chinese-made goods. Cheap, but shoddy. Okay. I mean, that is definitely something that I've heard people say, right? I don't think you're alone in that thought process. I will not endorse that statement, but yeah, I mean, that's what some people do say. Spirit Warrior says, Amazon has changed. They hide the number of reviews here in the United States. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, I was not aware of that. But yeah, so you get the idea, right? You can see some of the pricing here, so you get a little bit of an idea of what it could cost. But definitely get these. If you don't do it, you are going to regret it. Trust me. All right, so there's a couple people that were asking to go live. And I don't know if I'm going to do that today, but I do want to answer any questions you might have. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Really Kidding said, continuing success, excellent messages daily. Thank you. I'm happy that you enjoy what I'm sharing on Instagram. Pastor Catherine Smith says, hello, Joe. Been watching you since you moved to Sierra Leone, praying for you and some of the challenges that you have had. All will be well. Thank you. I really appreciate that. What do we have here? Anything else? I was told I say, let me tell you something a lot. NL Quam says, I got a clothing brand that I think you'd like. Basically, I'll say like. I'm a 16-year-old entrepreneur trying to make it out. I'd appreciate it if you take some time to check out my website. DM me, and maybe if you could send me something, I can try it out and maybe I can endorse it. That's what you definitely should do, is if you want to follow the Shade Room model. If you saw what the Shade Room did with their clothing line, they were sending it to different celebrities. The Shade Room, what am I talking about? Sorry, Fashion Nova. Fashion Nova would send it to celebrities. Then they would pay for an ad on the Shade Room because the Shade Room always posts about celebrities. And so it's just perfect for that audience. And they couldn't even keep up with demand. And the guy who started it was a billionaire within a year. So I definitely recommend you follow the Shade Room model. You said this division I want to pursue. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully I'm giving you something to look forward to. Okay, Armetta is saying, are you going to, I can't see it. Yeah, so I am on my laptop. If you guys are watching on Instagram and on TikTok, you're going to have to click on the link in my bio, go to my YouTube channel, click on the most recent live that's live right now so that you can watch this. Don't. Mosey Main says, is solar not a thing here? It is a thing here, but of course, with solar, it's going to limit the number of devices that you can charge depending on what you have, and it's going to be really expensive, right? So it can cost anywhere to $7,000 to $10,000 for a complete off-the-grid solution, and so many folks decide to use solar as a substitute for when light goes out. And in that case, they utilize it just for some specific devices, but not all the time. But you can imagine, because they don't use it all the time, you still have to deal with the main power company and the surges that come in and out of devices. Africa Emerge says, please buy quality or you'll encounter problems. There you go. When it comes to the transformer, the step up or step down, step up or step down transformer, make sure you buy a quality one. That's a good point. It's expensive to be cheap. C. Upshaw says, hello from NYC. What's up, C. Upshaw? Let's see. What else do we have on Instagram? Jasmine Adams says, are you going to show the device? Unfortunately, I can't show it on. I don't actually have a device physically in front of me, so I'm actually looking at the prices online. So it's Dark Skin Human says, step down converter. Is that the name? Yes. You could just type step down transformer or step down converter, and as you're typing that into Google, it'll auto complete for you. 220V to 110V. It'll fill that in for you. Let's see. Jasmine was saying you couldn't see anything but me, but I hope you guys understand now. I was only being able to show on my laptop because I'm sharing my screen on my laptop. What's up, Najima? Najima's in the building. So for those of you who are just joining, I'm expressing that my laptop just died, basically. As of right now, hopefully it's just a battery, and then we're all good. But as of right now, my laptop is not working. I am unable to, because of the battery, I'm unable to access my device, which is really sad and unfortunate, but that's the situation that I'm in right now. So Spirit Warrior says they don't have the Life Pro 4 solar batteries in Leone. They use solar panels that cost about $50. In the USA, they want $150 in Leone. Kwame says, sorry to hear it. Yeah, it's all good. Alexis Fowler says, how do you feel about houses being built directly off the edge of the mountains in Sierra Leone, like Leicester? I went there and my anxiety went off the roof. So I think it's fine as long as it's not an area that has heavy floods, because there was that mudslide that I reported on that happened long before I had a YouTube channel, but there was a mudslide that affected, or there was over 1,000 people had experienced loss of life. And so that is, and then many other people impacted by that. So that's something you definitely need to be aware of. You know, there's certain regions where they'll tell you not to build and people build there anyway. And that is something that could potentially happen. But this is not a country that has other natural disasters besides floods at this point in time. We haven't had hurricanes, knock on wood. We haven't had earthquakes. We haven't had tsunamis, right? So these things haven't really happened here. Floods have happened, but those other natural disasters have not. And so, you know, I think about California, right? The Hollywood Hills. People build their houses basically on the cliff. You know, even if you look at Malibu, a bunch of people are building houses that they build their houses on stilts because of the tide where it comes in. So the Hollywood Hills is a great example of houses that are, you know, if you go run on Runyon Canyon in LA, you'll see these houses that are just like, they're built with like levels. And so, yeah, I mean, these houses are sturdier than those houses there. You know, there's a video that went viral of a guy talking about building in West Africa versus building in America. The houses are way sturdier here if done right, because they're made with cement and they're not like made out of plywood, right? These walls are cement, not like plywood or whatever they use in the States. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's plywood. So yeah, I mean, they're meant to last, they're built to last, and they can stick around for a while. Some other questions. Alexis said, I went to the landslide memorial. Yeah, it's really sad. Okay, Renzo 97 said, what can 100K get me out there? Depending on where, you get a pretty nice size. Okay, well, depends on where you are, right? But you definitely are going to get a ton of land, and you get a really nice house, like a really, really nice house for 100K. Like everything with all the bells and whistles, everything you need for 100K. Generally almost anywhere in the country. That's from buying from a private seller. Now, if you're buying in one of these communities, then you're looking at more like 400K. But 100K, if I was you, I would take the 100K. And if you can spend some time here, if you got 100K cash right now, that sounds to me like someone who can spend a pretty significant amount of time here in the country, and you could just be here and watch that person build your house in front of you, and you get everything you want for 100K for sure. But Alexis is making a good point. Get a credible real estate lawyer. Tim Black is also making a good point. 40 people in the room, 10 likes. Come on, everyone hit that like button. I like that, Tim. Everyone hit that like button. I forget to remind people to do it, but make sure you guys hit that like button and thumbs up in the chat if you guys find this interesting. All right, Darskin Human says, you're one rockin' ride or die guy, refusing to be deterred from the live. I hope it's just a battery. Hugs. Thank you. I hope so too. We will find out by the end of this week. So by next Monday, when I go live again, whether on another person's device, a good friend of mine in Ghana, or hopefully my own device, we will have found out at that point in time if it was just a battery. So fingers crossed on that. All right, what else do we got? Any questions, comments, or thoughts on TikTok, actually? Okay, just people joining on TikTok. We got around 40 people on Instagram, on YouTube, and a couple people on Facebook as well, and Twitch. Cool. I appreciate you all joining. Any questions from me? Africa Emerge is saying to Renzo, 100K will build you a nice house for sure. Alexis Fowler says Sierra Leone is the best food I've ever tasted. Mende Village and Bo can cook. Yes, Mende folks can cook. They actually can cook. Alexis says, hope you get a new PC soon. I will probably get a new MacBook. They're just expensive, right? So I paid quite a bit of money for this MacBook. So hopefully it's not the MacBook itself. I'm not even sure it's still in warranty. And even if it is, I got to get it to the States or to Europe to get it fixed under warranty. So we'll see. Fingers crossed it's just the battery. If it's just a battery, then we're good. Great question. Is it hard to get good quality electronics there? There are a couple places that do sell particularly popular electronics in Sierra Leone, but in general, it's not as easy as like maybe in Ghana. There's more options in Ghana. There's a few places here that I've heard about that sell them. That's why it was something I wanted to offer for my business. I'm just trying to find a way to ship that is cost effective. So I actually just met someone today who's in that process. He ships to other parts of the world, Latin America, Cuba, and a few other places. So let's see if maybe he and I can potentially work on a partnership to get some goods to Sierra Leone. The things that he's looking for, I have a solution for. So fingers crossed we can make that work too. Good question. Renzo says, what's a nice house? Like how many rooms? Also over like 10 acres as well. Okay, so 100K will, okay, depending on where you are, you can buy a ton of acreage and then you would have to use the rest of it to build, right? So where I bought, an acre is about $1,000 right outside of Bo. So if you wanted to get 10 acres, you could spend between $10,000 and $20,000 on the 10 acres, depending on who you're buying from. You're buying from a family, then they're probably going to be more willing to bring the price down. So if you do that, 10 acres, then the rest is for building the house. 80K can build you a pretty nice house. I would imagine you can probably build a 2-story house, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms in each one, or on each floor if you want to do it that way. You can even probably build 3 stories, but it's all dependent on how many bedrooms you want, what the finishings are going to look like, all the fixtures and whatnot. That's where things start to add up. And again, shout out to Stafford Lodge for letting me shoot in here. Spirit Warrior says, great, get an architect and engineer. You can get building materials lists if you want, if you're going to be building in Africa, yes. Andre says, do you do consultations? I do consultations. So I actually just did one today, and I'll be doing another one later this week. So if you want to do a consultation with me, you can click on, you know what? Email me here. Let me do this. Just email me at AuthenticAfricanLife@gmail.com, and I'll get you set up with a consultation. Alexis Fowler says, I love your strategy to build a small studio on your land first before building your official house to cut down expenses on living. Yes. So yeah, Alexis is referring to the fact that I have a guest house, which has different meanings in this country, technically. Generally, a guest house actually means like a small, like mini hotel, almost like a bed and breakfast, but they call it a guest house here. My guest house is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that's on the property that I just moved into last Thursday night. And so I spent my second night there last night because I was in the outer provinces over the weekend. But yeah, that was the strategy, and I recommend everybody do it. So you could stay 2-3 months and you can watch the building process as it happens. Because that's going to be important, right? Especially when you're building your main house. The guest house, of course, you can learn along the way, see where the mistakes were made, and learn whether or not you have a contractor that's someone you want to utilize for a massive house. So you can learn your lessons, make some mistakes, figure it out along the way. So I definitely would recommend doing that first. Jerry Campbell says, hey, Joe, late check-in from NYC. Better late than never. Better late than never. Alexis says Sierra Leone is underrated. It is. Spirit Warrior says, I shipped military surplus tent to live in once I purchased land. There you go. I mean, that's actually not a bad idea, a military surplus tent. If it's something that, and I'm guessing it's like the ones that, was it FEMA uses? Like, is it like that? Let's actually just look what that looks like. Military surplus tent. Okay, I see it. I see what you mean. Now, there are all different kinds of versions of these. And so you want to make sure that it can sustain all the weather elements. But, obviously if the military uses them, then they feel like it can. Here's an idea of what they look like. Excuse me. It can come all shapes and sizes. So if you want to build something like this, you just want to make sure you find something that you can be comfortable in. That's a good point. So Alexis is saying she's looking it up. Spirit Warrior says, I'm considering building a hyper Adobe house. I have to take a look at what that means. I got one that was 18 by 18. Okay, that's the military surplus was 18 by 18. Nice. The Real Source says, what's the process to become a SL citizen if your parents were born in Sierra Leone? That I do know. So you do need to have proof. You do need to have proof on an official legal documentation, ideally from the United States or what country you're from, that says where they were born. So I use a marriage certificate for one of my parents, and I use a birth certificate for the other parent. And if you do that, you can get your citizenship rather quickly. I got a guy that you can go to at the embassy. I mean, not the embassy, sorry, at immigration that can get you fairly quickly. Africa America said, I built a 3-story house, 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. How much did it cost you? Love to ask. I'm considering building, okay, Hyper W house. We talked about that. Okay, like an Eco Lodge. Nice. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question. Hyper Adobe means like okay, like mud bag houses. Okay. I've seen those before. Excuse me, sorry. Haven't been getting much sleep considering the circumstances. So Hyper Adobe house. Let's just share what that looks like on screen, right? Why not? This one looks cool. Let me share my screen first so you guys can see it. So something like this is interesting. So these are all Hyper Adobe houses, cost-effective houses that are meant to sustain harsh weather conditions. So here's a great question from Tim Black. House help, is it very expensive to have a housekeeper? No, not too expensive. I mean, you just have the budget for it. So in Ghana, I was paying $100 a month. She came 5 days a week, and she did enough for 3 meals a day. So on Mondays and on Thursdays, I had her doing my dinner, and then Tuesdays and Fridays, if I'm not mistaken, I had her doing my breakfast, and so it worked. Fatmata says, "Love your headboard." I'm actually at the Stafford Lodge, so that is not my headboard. This is the Stafford Lodge. This is one of the rooms at Stafford Lodge. So that's their headboard back there. That is not my headboard. I have a very different kind of bed. But a lot of people like these big headboards here in this country. I've seen people do it in white. I've seen people do it in gray and black. I do not have a headboard that looks like that. Mine is a little different. Alexis is asking, do you have to buy groceries with the $100? Absolutely. I bought the groceries. She would just go pick them up. So yeah, so that was what I paid for her in terms of the cooking and cleaning services, but I did buy my own groceries. Yes, so I did do that. But I think it wasn't that expensive considering. Now, in Sierra Leone, some people do 1,000 leones, which is like less than $50 a month to hire a housekeeper. But many of them are not like live-in and they don't come to you every day. So the last place that I was staying in, we had a housekeeper who came 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And we paid her 1,000 leones per month, but she also worked for 3 other people. And she basically bounced from one place to the next. She just did the laundry, she cleaned the floors, the dishes, and maybe cooked that day. She was out in the house by 9:30, out of the house by 1 to go to her next place. We work there until maybe early evening. And she kind of had a system in place that worked for her. And so the 1,000 from each of us kind of worked out for her and made it easy for her. Okay. Spear Warrior saying minimum wage in Salon is 800 leones. For full month time is 6 days a week, 10 hours per day is what I was told. 800 leones. That's 800 leones, right? Which, by the way, is less than $50 a day. I can't remember if that was the official number that was put out last year, but there was a minimum wage number that was put out last year. And so that might be right. That might be right. Sorry. Excuse me. All right, cool. Any other questions, comments, thoughts on anything we talked about today? I'm just checking through Instagram, see if there was anything. Excuse me. More than happy to answer any more questions. We're right at 10 o'clock, guys, which I didn't think I was going to make it till 10. I thought because I didn't like promote this a ton, because obviously I didn't have the ability to. I think this is a pretty good turnout considering. When are you going to go live with these two Sierra Leonean girls? So you mean Masa and Kenya, right? Very soon, actually, maybe next Monday, because I'll be very close quarters with them. Put it that way. So I'll be there. I'll be there. Hopefully, I can go live with them for sure. Andre said you just dropped me an email. Great. Subject line: hello. I'll take a look at it this week. I'll log in from my phones. I'll be able to log in from my phones. I can't act like I can't use my email from a phone. I just hate answering email on the phone, but I'll check it out for sure. Fatimata says, how is your house building in Bo going? That's a good question. So really, it was my dad who was really focused on building the one house in Bo. And that's kind of where, it's delayed. It's delayed. It's always been delayed. That's just a thing. And the other land that we purchased, we haven't built on anything on there yet. We still haven't fenced it off yet. I mean, it's 5 acres of land, so there's a lot to do there. I went up there and talked to not the lands commission, but to the folks that are responsible for it, and there was still some things left to do, but we're almost done there. We had a really devastating situation happen recently, and so it's kind of thrown everybody off, threw everyone for a loop. So we're just kind of trying to get back into the swing of everything these next couple weeks now. Real Source says, how are you managing old money versus new money? I actually have no issue with old money versus new money, because at the end of the day, it's just a remuneration of removing 3 zeros. So at any given time, I might have 10,000 Leones right next to a 10 Leone bill. But it's the same denomination, just with 3 zeros removed, and it's the same. It's worth the same amount, right? So there is no confusion on that, because there aren't any bills that large on the new currency. So like you can't walk in with a 5,000 note and people think that that's actually 5,000 Leones. People are like, that's a 5 Leone note under the new currency. It just says 5,000 on it. Right. So it's been pretty easy for me. I haven't had any issues. I've seen some people having issues with it, but I haven't had any issues. Alexis is saying, I think they told the story how they was on the hunt to look for the lost phone. Yes. I was at Afro Nation last year, I think, in Ghana. We were talking about what was our different experiences. I was in Sierra Leone. They were in Ghana. But at the time, I was back in Ghana with them. At Kenya's old apartment. And so, yeah, our old place that she was living in. But yeah, we'll get a chance to catch up. Don't worry. We're going to do some content together. They just started a new podcast as well. So I definitely want to get them on to talk about their podcast. The shooting's looking good. The editing's looking good. I like what they're doing with it. So I'm definitely looking forward to sharing. Tim Black says, I would love to see a tour of the developments they're planning the developments there. Are you planning on touring anytime? Do you mean my place in near Freetown or the place in Bo? Either way, yes, I got tours coming for sure. Jerry Campbell says, I know these things turn on location, but what is the average price per square acre for beach property? That's a good question. I had done a live. Here's what I recommend you do, Jerry. Look for the live that I did on affordable, eco-friendly housing in Sierra Leone. So when this live is over, go to my YouTube channel, type in eco-friendly housing. Just type in eco-friendly, actually. And the live that I did where I talked about the pricing of real estate in Sierra Leone, it's right in there. So I think that'll be helpful. It's about a year old, but I think it'll help give you an idea. Spirit Warrior says should do live fence starting with bamboo, then plant trees and bushes. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. The only issue with the live fence is that when you do a live fence, people can get through the live fence. And it's easier if you have a cement fence that's 10 feet high that people can't climb over. Alexis says, yay, share their podcast. Unfortunately, I'm on a bunch of devices right now, but email me, I'll share the podcast name. I don't have it off the top of my head. I think it's called, nope, don't even get me to try to guess. If you guys are watching right now, Kenya, Amasa, let us know, and let us know the name of your podcast. You can also look them up at Freetown Chop House, and then from there, I'm sure you can find their personal pages. And then when you find their personal pages, they'll probably have links to the new podcast. Fatmata says, I hope I get familiar with the new money when I visit in December. It won't be too difficult. Trust me. If you just understand 5 leones and 5,000 leones is the same, then you'll be fine. It looks like my Instagram is going to cut off here shortly. So I'm going to give it a chance to shut down, and then I'm going to get back on in a moment. I was talking about neighborhood subdivisions in Sierra Leone. Tim, I would love to. Oh, tour. Yes, I'll be doing that soon. I would definitely be doing neighborhood and subdivision tours for sure. Jerry Campbell says, eco-friendly. Okay, we'll do many things. 24 says, yo, my guy just caught up. What happened in Sierra Leone? I was saying that my laptop is done. It is finito. Sorry, give me a second, guys. I just need to screenshot something here to show how many people joined the live on Instagram. So you can see how many people would. This is to give to brands. So I need to do this. Freetown Sierra Leone and myself as a collaborator. And then I want to go live again. Sorry, guys. I need to do this just to ensure that I can go back live on YouTube. You're going to have to add yourself as a collaborator immediately or else it doesn't work. And I want to go live again on YouTube. All right. So we are back on YouTube, on Instagram. We've been live on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and everywhere else. We're now back live on Instagram. So hit that thumbs up if you're watching. And shoot your questions over if you have any. Originally, we were talking about the devastating news that I got or that happened this weekend of my laptop dying. As an influencer, that's a big deal. Now we're talking about real estate in Sierra Leone in particular, if you're interested. The real source. Do you know anything about this police shooting of the musician? I do. So if you guys want to talk about it, we can talk about it. The gentleman by the name of Big Fish. And he is friends with another artist who's currently in jail. Some people say he had some mental health issues, but there was what they call an OSD officer, a female OSD officer. He apparently wrestled the gun away from her. The initial reports was that he shot in the air. Everybody ran for cover, I'll just say everybody ran for cover. Apparently, he was confronted by a military officer. That military officer did not stand down. According to a story, he shot at the military officer, not wounding the military officer because he had a bulletproof vest. The military officer then proceeded to fire back, and Big Fish experienced loss of life. It was a big deal because it happened on Thursday. No, it happened sometime last week. And it was wild because, somebody had just called me and said, are you downtown? There's a shooting. And so I went and tried to check online. There was no new news because news travels a little bit slower here. It's not like in the States where, you can confirm certain things like almost immediately. It takes a little while for it to be confirmed. But yeah, it was confirmed and the story was brought out, and so it all made sense. So that situation. 24 said, where do we donate at? Let's help get the new laptop. Man, I appreciate that. If you'd like to donate to help me get a new laptop, if I need a new laptop, or even to pay for the repairs of this one, you can support by tipping here on Zelle at this or on Cashapp here. So either one is fine. Feel free to do so. Unfortunately, the YouTube monetization feature is down, so you cannot tip live on the YouTube monetization, unfortunately. 24 says, bro, sorry to change the subject, but I'm trying to set up an LLC in Salon. I have to complete an ACA form and it costs $6K. No, it should not cost $6K. 24, you have your Sierra Leone citizenship, right? If you do, it definitely should not cost $6K. No way. If anything, that might be 6,000 leones, but even that sounds excessive because 6,000 leones, but it might be 6,000 leones. 6,000 leones is like $200. But it's definitely not $6,000. No. If anything, it might be $200, $300, like 6,000 leones, but it cannot be $6,000. No way. Tim Black says, have you ever met Isadin K? He's a YouTuber from Sierra Leone. I have not. No, I have not. So 24 said I was born in SL but raised in the UK. So then you should be good. You should be able to, yeah, you shouldn't have any issues. Email me, hit me up on email. Let's talk about it. Send me what you were talking about, the form and what you're looking at. The Real Source says to hear about Big Fish after Mobad. Yeah, I mean, but Big Fish was different because it was self-inflicted, to be honest. I mean, I think he may have had dealing with some mental health issues, but for sure that was different from the Mobad situation, which I posted a little bit about. People have been talking about a lot. So yeah, and I want to get back to this one. So Tim, I haven't met Isadin K. What's the name of their channel? That it? What you did here? Doing a search right now. Oh, e-visa. This is actually good. Really good content. Hold on here. He's talking about how to get a visa. Okay. Let me go to his page. Okay. 24 says, what's your email? I need to reach out to you properly. I have high hopes for Sierra Leone. Yeah, right here at the bottom, it says AuthenticAfricanLife at gmail.com. So you can just email me there. I'm just looking at, it says YouTube Sierra Leone. Is this Isadin K's page? It looks like it. Okay. Yeah, cool. All right. Any other questions? Anything else as we potentially bring this thing to a close? And yeah, if you want to support in any way, feel free. You can Zelle or Cashapp to the information you see on the screen, if you can, and if you so choose. Totally up to you, no pressure. But YouTube has demonetized my channel at least until November. So if you want to support in any way, you can do it that way. The Real Source says Isadin's channel is great. He's one of the three YouTubers from SL I follow. Nice. Fatmata said, thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you. All right, cool. Any other questions, comments, thoughts? I didn't wear glasses today. I don't know if you guys noticed the difference. You probably watching like, what's different about today? Something's different. Yeah, not wearing glasses today. So you may have noticed that. That is the major difference. Why did they demonetize your channel? Alexis, it's a good question. So I posted some videos that I had not changed enough. These are videos that have been circulated, and these were videos that I thought were really important to share with my audience. I share them on Instagram, but with YouTube, with the copyright, yeah, they basically demonetized the channel. They said I posted too much content that has been found on other places, other platforms, and it's not original content. And so I think if I'm gonna do like little reaction video, I can do little reaction videos and actually add my 2 cents before and after, and that should be fine. But because I had been doing these videos where I was just pressing, adding a little bit at the end, I think that's where it caused some issues. So lesson learned. iTuber says my titles are clickbait. Listen, man, my laptop going down is devastating. I don't know if you know that, but that's devastating news. All right. And also, you guys know that if I would have said laptop went down, not working as well, we would have had 5 people in the live today. You know how that goes. And so you know how that goes. This is how it works. It's how it works. People are just ready to look at bad news. And if you are big enough and, you mention, but also, I did want people to get the lesson, right? So anytime I'm going to complain about something, I'm also going to offer a solution. That's always been my thing. I am solutions driven. I do not complain. Or if I do, I share solutions, right? I'm not going to just come on here and rant about something I don't like. I'm always going to give you guys a solution. So iTuber said, I'm late, but you look tired. Get some rest. I am a bit tired, to be honest with you. 24 says, you look 3 years younger without glasses, bro. Thanks. Appreciate it. I don't know how old I look with glasses, but somebody said I looked an age that was a little bit more than 10 years younger than I actually am. So I'll take it. iTuber 12 says they are changing the requirements for DNA citizenship program, FYI. So folks need to take advantage this year. iTuber, where'd you get that information, and what do you know what they're going to be changing the requirements to? Let me know. I'd be really interested to share that with people. I'd love to bring that on the live and make sure people are aware. Tim Black says, what have you found to be easier Sierra Leone than in the West? What do you think about that? The cost of labor has been easier for sure, and cheaper, of course. So that's definitely been easier than in the West. I would also say what's been easier than in the West is navigating the different folks in high office here, being able to meet different people. One degree of separation can get you close to people in government here. So 24 says, you don't look tired, bro, just fed up. Oh man, it's both, man. It's both. It's both. I had a conversation about this today. It's both. But the thing is that as more of us come, the easier it gets for all of us, right? Like that's the thing that I always have to tell everybody is like, Instagram and TikTok are live. My YouTube is back live again, but the light just went out. But the good thing is they have a generator. The person just has to go over to the generator and turn it on. So we'll get light back going in a second here. Excuse me. But as you said, 24, you don't look tired. You just look fed up. Well, this is one of the challenges, power outages, which led to my laptop dying. So yeah. Your titles work the algorithms. Yes, that's how you have to do it. Nothing wrong with the title, Alexis says. Jerry Campbell says, I get it, read the title. Some of us check in regardless. Yes, you do. Jerry, I think you're checking in every week regardless. Alexis is one of those people that's in almost every week. Anita is in almost every week. We back. We have light. Cool. iTuber's talking about the citizenship program, DNA citizenship program. He said it's being changed next year, likely, but details are not finalized. So I don't want to spread false info, but it's safe to say that there will be more required of applicants. Interesting. Alexis says, have some wine after this. I don't drink wine anymore. I no longer drink alcohol at all, so no more wine. But I'll do some meditating, stress release, and stress relievers in other ways for sure. I have my ways. Alexis says power outage. Yes, that was a power outage that just happened. Spirit Warrior said 24/7 generators should be on in a minute, and it is. It went right on. So you're right about that. The Real Source says lights don't come. Yes, lights don't come. All right, cool. So we're now an hour and 15 minutes in. I started 5 minutes late. My bad, guys. I didn't realize I was 5 minutes late to the live today. But yeah, we're an hour and 15 minutes in. You know what? Something seemed off. Let me get that light back on, the ring light back on. There we go. That's the yellow light. Let's get that white light. There we go. Okay, cool. Kellen's in the building. Hey, bro, stay strong. There's an investment conference in DC. How can we help you? Connect with those investors. It's a good point. Yes. Yeah. Well, I think bring them to the channel, right? If you want to share my content with them, share my email. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm looking to connect investors with individuals. So if there's any investors there that you guys meet with at the conference, and you wanna ensure that they're actually spending those dollars on the continent, definitely let me know. So yeah, put them in touch with me for sure. I know, Kellen, you have my email, but those of you who are also going to be joining Kellen at this event, okay, I moved over to the other network now that we have light again. The Real Source says, are you connected with anyone who's at the SL Diaspora Conference in the DMV? There you go. That was a question that Kellen was asking. Not any direct connections. I mean, some follow the page, some I follow. Vicky Rameau and I follow each other. But no, I don't have any like real personal relationships with anyone there at the moment, unfortunately. It would have been nice to go. That would have been the perfect place for me to be, but I have some travel that I need to do, and I couldn't make it make sense for me considering when I was made aware of the events and everything else that happened this past weekend. All right, cool. Any questions? Any other questions that you guys have for me? Comments, questions, comments, thoughts? Can you guys hear that? There's people talking right outside the room. I don't know if you can hear it. Anyway, let me know if there's any more questions. There's last minute questions. We're an hour and 18 minutes in. It's about 10:24. I'll give it another minute or two for any other questions, comments, thoughts, or concerns. And we will call this thing a wrap once we give everybody a chance to ask questions. Okay, Alexis was saying she couldn't hear the people outside. And 24 said, you did a lodge? Yes, I did a Stafford Lodge. Stafford Lodge was kind enough to allow me to do a live from here today. Folks here have been excellent. Sorry. Whistling's not for everybody. Cool. You know what? at this point, I think we should call it an end to the live today. I need to give this laptop back to its owner, because she was kind enough to allow me to use it, but it was not meant to be all night. So, so good question. Kellen's asking, will Dory wear your merchandise to promote while speaking? I have not. Oh, I didn't realize Dory's going to be speaking. Well, then yes, I do have a personal connection. I haven't looked at the full speaker lineup. Yeah, so let me check. But I actually did not. No, I don't have uh, Authentic African merch out in the hands of anybody as of yet. So no, she won't be wearing anything at the moment. 24 says, no, so that's how they talk. Well, you say you did at lodge. I don't know what you mean. Which lodge you they talk about? I don't understand. 24, you always causing trouble, man. Okay, cool. So Kellen, that was a great question. Thanks for asking it. Alexis Fowler is asking, was that Creole? Yes. What language is that? That was Creole. Sorry, that was Creole. Yes. So some of the people are writing in Creole. So quick translation, you did not lodge means, are you at a specific place? This is specifically saying, are you at the lodge? But he's saying that's not what it means. And this says lights don't come, mean light has come. So sorry, I didn't realize. Now I'm thinking about it. Not everybody understands Creole that is watching. So hopefully that was helpful. So yeah, lights don't come and you don't come and you didn't lodge. Yes, I didn't lodge, but the question that was asked, I think, had a hidden meaning to it that I don't really get. I think it went over my head, like way over my head. Didn't really get it. But it's probably not you. It's probably me, considering it's been one of those last 5 days. Last 3 weeks has been like just nuts, considering what's been going on. But the last 5 days has not been it. Definitely not been it. Not. So Creole Wamnamimot. So this means I'm able to speak Creole. Like basically, that's the best way I can describe what this means. It's not a direct translation. It's basically saying it's warm in my mouth, which sounds crazy when you say it in English, but basically just means I can speak Creole well. Alexis says Creole sounds a little easy when you say it out loud, like patois. Yeah, it does. I also I have an American accent, so it might be sounding like Americanized version of Creole anyway. But yeah, I mean, you hear it enough, you get it, you catch on. I've talked to some people who didn't have Sierra Leonean parents, who've gotten their citizenship, spent some time here, and they understand it pretty well. Sometimes they might ask people to repeat, but yeah, for sure. But it does kind of remind you of patois for sure. And then Nigerian pidgin, there's some similarities as well. So 24 says, I know Sabi Creole at the right time. So are you using Google Translate? Because Creole is in Google Translate, by the way. So if you need to figure out how to say certain things and help you with pronunciation of things, that's a good place to go. It's Google Translate. So 24 says, I know Sabi Creole at the right time. So what 24 is saying is, I don't understand Creole, or I don't know Creole really. Sabi means you know, like Sabi means no. So K-N-O-W. So I don't know Creole, and Aderaita means I'm writing it, but I can, or it can mean like based like this. It can mean, but I can write it. That's technically how that could be translated. But yeah, it's the two different sentences. Is I don't know Creole. I am writing Creole. I am writing it. The real source says, for Sierra Leone citizenship, do I have to be in Sierra Leone or can I do it from abroad? Well, technically you should be in the country. But for the most part, you have to be in the country, actually, because they have to do your biometrics. If you've never done it before, you do have to do your biometrics. I think the real source, I think you were saying both your parents were born in Sierra Leone. So you don't have to go through what the other folks have to go through, but you still need to do your fingerprints. So you won't be able to do that from abroad. 24 says, I bought a book at the airport. Oh, you bought a book on Creole at the airport. Nice. Cool. Sorry about that. And Alexa's saying you may have to go to the ceremony. That depends on how you're getting your citizenship. The real source, if both your parents are born in Sierra Leone, you don't have to go through that ceremony process. You can just go to immigration and get your passport. If you are a diasporan who is many generations removed and you're going through African ancestry to find out your citizenship, then you have to go through one of those approved vendors to come to the country, go through the citizenship process that they have. All right, guys. It's 10:30 here. I do need to get this laptop back to its owner. As always, hit that thumbs up if you like this content. Make sure you share this with anybody planning to move to Sierra Leone or West Africa in general, but specifically Sierra Leone. Write any comments on the replay if you're watching the replay. Let us know what you think in the replay. Yeah, and I think, I want to say, I appreciate you all for the support, for following the channel. Many of you for years, some of you for a short amount of time, but all of you, I appreciate the support for sure. You guys have been really helpful when it comes to coming up with content to talk about on these lives. Having the energy to get up and go live, it's because of the feedback that I'm getting from you all. I will begin streaming at some point in time in the future. I hear that streaming is a new thing. As the audience grows, I want to start trying new things. So just expect to start seeing more things from me. Merch will be coming, as Kellen mentioned. The consulting service is already out there. More to come. More collaborations on podcast and on YouTube content. So stay tuned to that. There's definitely more coming there. Working as a contributor is coming too. So just stay tuned. There's plenty more to come. And with that, thanks for watching. 24 says, we appreciate you, bro. Thanks for all your reporting. You're welcome, of course. The real source says, thank you, which means thank you. Of course, always happy to do so. But with that, guys, thanks for watching. See you all on the next video.